Walter Gropius was born into a wealthy German family in the late spring of 1883. Parented by Walter Adolf Gropius, a government official, and Manon Auguste Pauline, a politician's daughter, you might wonder where in the family tree the young Gropius was inspired to pursue a creative career that would later on transpire into founding the Bauhaus, a school which played a significant role in fathering early modernism ideology. It was his uncle Martin to initiate the spark of interest, an established architect whose biggest commission had been designing a museum of decorative arts in Berlin, 1881. This story of success ensured the family's encouragement of Gropius to pursue architecture. Gropius was enrolled in the technological school in Munich from 1903 to 1904, and then in the Berlin Institute of Technology from 1905 to 1907. His formal education was never completed. However, a year after dropping out after inheriting a large sum of money from his aunt, Gropius was hired in Peter Bern's architectural office on Karl Ernst Ostenhaus's recommendation. He soon left the studio in 1910 to pair up with Adolf Meyer in the forming of his own architectural office. They decided to join the German Workers' Federation, which protested historicism and promoted the integration of new industrial mass production. One of the more famous projects, the Fagus Factory, incorporated the modernist ideal into form following function, later on becoming an inspiration for the materials and techniques of the Bauhaus institution. Following the First World War, in which Gropius was enlisted in, he searched for roles architecture and design could play in permeating the everyday life of the German citizens after their society had been left in ruins. In 1919, he became the master of Grand Ducal Saxon School of Arts and Crafts, only to be renamed Staatlich Bauhaus Weimar. It was then that Gropius's intention to form an alliance of the arts was cemented in the form of the institution's manifesto. Let us create a new guild of craftsmen without the class distinctions that raise an arrogant barrier between craftsmen and artists. Let us strive for, conceive, and create a new building of the future that will unite every discipline, architecture and sculpture and painting, and which will one day raise heavenwards from the millions of hands of craftsmen as a clear symbol of a new belief to come. The rising of the National Socialist Party's power in Germany created a hostile political environment for the Bauhaus until it was pressured to relocate to Dessau in 1925. This oppression turned opportunity when Gropius could rebuild the architectural design to fit his own modernist ideals. Modernism is the movement promoting social change and technological advancement, breaking away from traditional established systems of thinking. Modernity is the feeling one derives from living in the current moment, the feeling of being modern. Modernization is the progression of transitioning a pre-modern society into a modern society. The Bauhaus's new design acted as an advocate for the very modernist principles it preached. For example, design should fulfill the practical needs of modern life. Form should follow function. Form should follow production. Less is more. Basically, moving away from frivolous designs that just weren't practical or functional. These rules apply to the Bauhaus building's simplistic geometric form that rejects ornamentation. This is unlike more historical architectural designs which have more lavish embellishment that modern design considers unnecessary. Even the tradition of erecting a roof atop a building is revoked, leaving the Bauhaus building with a sudden clean shave. Instead, Gropius covers the flat tops of the Bauhaus with asphalt for walking on. This rejection of past styles and traditional use of materials envelops the principle of anti-historicism while also incorporating industrial and innovative techniques and materials. Glass was another major industrial material incorporated into the design over a sturdy steel framework more than 3 stories high. Aside from providing a well-lit environment, this glass curtain window is meant to give onlookers the immediate association of it being cutting-edge and modern. The Bauhaus presents the idea of unity through these modern patterns and disciplined simplistic characteristics. It is coherent and powerful. Social change can be measured by the long-term impact of a design. The Bauhaus was an icon of hope for the change it promised to users experiencing the facility, such as staff, students, and society. Overall, Bauhaus embodied the rebellious spirit of modernism, advocating for the principle of universality that did not exclude any class of designer, artist, sculptor, or architect. Contemporary American automotive designer, as well as great race car driver, Peter Brock, shared the early modernism ideal less is more that Walter Gropius had pioneered. That was the rejection of decoration and ornament in favor of simplicity and standardized forms that were suited to machine production. This can be found true in a direct quote from Brock. There's always an opportunity to put a good idea into another car. make a design too complicated and everything just seems to cancel each other out. Whether it's a car or a watch, less is more, I say. That's always been my mantra. The Shelby Daytona 1965 racing car design both minimizes the decoration to follow his mantra, as well as boldly altering the conventional shape of an automobile so film would follow function. In this case, the smooth front and chopped-off back was implemented to make the car more aerodynamically efficient. Brock believed that the blunt end was ugly but kind of beautiful for the way it worked. He also broke the convention of using significantly larger back glass windows in the design for lighter weight than other racing cars at the time. Overall, this was quite a revolutionary design which had sure influence over many modern-day cars such as the Toyota Prius. These contemporary designs that have incorporated the elements and principles of modernism play a part in proving that the Bauhaus's existence will continue to influence contemporary designs that are yet to come. The ideology of modernism that the institution preached will live on.